So we're counting down those absolutely mental moments when Marvel villains just completely lost it and went full god mode. These aren't your average villain scenes, these are jaw-dropping, cinema-shaking moments that had everyone questioning if the heroes even stood a chance. From 30 down to number 1, let's get into it. The 2015 Fantastic Four might have been universally panned, but watching Victor Von Doom absolutely obliterate the entire US military is genuinely chilling. After being transformed by Planet Zero, Doom returns to Earth with reality-warping powers, and he's not messing about. The scene where he walks through the military compound is properly unsettling. Soldiers open fire with everything they've got, and Doom just makes them implode with a gesture. No dramatic speeches, no hesitation, just casual mass murder.
I have always been alone.
Victor, stop! Just stop!
What makes this effective is how effortless it all feels for him. None of it matters because Doom's operating on a completely different level here. The visual effects create this sense of overwhelming power as bodies drop around him while he calmly walks towards his goal.
The Earth is dying. Humanity had its chance.
Dad!
You son of a...
Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror going full god mode in the quantum realm was absolutely mental. Throughout the film, he's been presented as this imprisoned tyrant. When he finally cuts loose, you understand why the multiverse fears him so much. The scene where he attacks Scott, Hope and the Resistance fighters showcases powers that make him feel unstoppable. He's phasing through attacks and casually swatting aside Ant-Man like he's nothing. The blue energy crackling around him creates this imposing presence that makes him feel like a proper cosmic level threat. When he's fighting multiple heroes simultaneously and not even breaking a sweat, it establishes him as someone who's conquered entire timelines for a reason. The way he ragdolls Scott around whilst explaining how insignificant he is creates this sense of hopelessness that proper villains should have.
These carriers can use the stone to mow down entire civilizations like wheat in a field.
The Collector's holographic presentation showing a Celestial obliterating an entire civilization is one of the most terrifying displays of cosmic power in the MCU. This isn't a battle or a fight, it's literal genocide on a planetary scale. The visual of this massive Celestial towering over everything and watching the entire world disintegrate is genuinely apocalyptic. What makes this scene work is the scale. You see millions of beings running, screaming, trying to escape, and it's all utterly futile because you can't outrun a planet being destroyed beneath your feet. The fact that this is presented as ancient history, as something the Celestials did casually while shaping the universe, makes them feel even more terrifying.
There's a little pea coming out of me right now.
Once for a moment, a group was able to share the energy amongst themselves, but even they were quickly destroyed by it.
Well, this has been fun, but the big guy needs to eat and the rent is due.
Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova is properly terrifying in The Void, and watching her casually dominate both Deadpool and Wolverine whilst murdering Human Torch establish her as one of the most powerful telepaths we've seen. The scene where she phases her fingers into Deadpool's head is nightmare fuel. She's not just reading minds, she's controlling bodies, rewriting thoughts, causing immense pain with casual ease. What makes Cassandra brilliant is how detached she is from the violence she causes. When she makes Johnny Storm's skin peel off after he badmouths her, she does it with this calm, almost bored expression that makes it even more horrifying. The visual effects of her telekinesis are spectacular, with reality seemingly bending around her fingers as she manipulates matter and mind simultaneously. Watching Wolverine, someone who's fought through countless battles, being completely helpless demonstrates just how outmatched they really are.
We're mutants. We're never safe.
Kevin Bacon's Sebastian Shaw attacking the CIA facility with his team remains one of the most brutal introductions in the X-Men franchise.
What is that?
Shaw's energy absorption powers makes him effectively invincible. Bullets, explosions, electricity, everything just seems to make him stronger. The way he casually walks through gunfire, absorbing every shot whilst grinning, establishes him as someone who genuinely can't be stopped by conventional means. What makes this scene particularly dark is Darwin's death.
Adapt to this.
His reactive evolution should let him survive anything. But Shaw literally forces a concentrated energy ball down his throat and his powers can't adapt fast enough.
Stay here, my ass! Let's go!
Watching Darwin explode from the inside while his friends watch helplessly is genuinely shocking because it just happens so quickly. Infinity War's opening scene is one of the most effective villain introductions ever because it shows Thanos brutalizing two of the MCU's strongest heroes. Watching him beat the absolute daylights out of Hulk in hand-to-hand combat to the point where Bruce is too traumatized to transform again establishes Thanos as an unprecedented threat. The Hulk's never lost a straight fight before, and Thanos just systematically dismantles him with superior technique and strength. What makes this scene even more brutal is the aftermath. Loki's forced to watch his brother Thor being tortured, the Asgardian refugees are slaughtered, and Heimdall dies trying to save Bruce. When Thanos stabs Heimdall through the chest with a spear whilst Thor screams helplessly, it demonstrates how powerless even gods are against him. The Mad Titan then pops the Space Stone into his gauntlet and casually says, "No resurrections this time," before snapping Loki's neck. The fact that this is all just the opening scene sets the tone perfectly. Thanos ain't messing around. Lewis Pullman's Sentry absolutely demolishing the Thunderbolts team shows exactly why he's one of Marvel's most powerful beings. The brief glimpses we get of him in action are genuinely terrifying. This isn't someone who's trying hard, he's casually swatting aside enhanced individuals like they're nothing. Watching him go through opponents and move with impossible speed creates this sense of overwhelming power that makes Superman look tame. These are hardened operatives, enhanced soldiers, and they're absolutely terrified. The aura surrounding Sentry, combined with the destructive power he displays, establishes him as a proper god-tier threat. The way he seems to phase through attacks, his casual expression whilst being so dominant, it creates the unsettling image of someone who's completely detached from normal combat.
I really am sorry.
While Mysterio's not physically powerful, the illusion sequence where he psychologically tortures Peter Parker is one of the most visually creative and genuinely unsettling villain moments in the MCU. Jake Gyllenhaal's Quentin Beck uses advanced holographic technology to create this nightmarish reality where Peter just can't trust his senses. The sequence where zombified Iron Man crawls out of his grave, where multiple Mysterios surround Peter, where the floor disappears beneath him, it's all brilliantly disorienting. What makes this effective is how helpless Peter is against someone who controls perception. He's punching illusions, falling through fake doors, being attacked from angles that just don't even exist. The visual effects create this MC Escher-style nightmare where reality keeps shifting and you genuinely feel Peter's panic. When Mysterio stands there calmly whilst Peter's having a breakdown, it demonstrates that physical power isn't everything. Controlling someone's mind is just as effective. The scene's also a proper showcase for how dangerous technology can be in the MCU when wielded by someone creative and ruthless.
What mouth?
Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch absolutely obliterating the Illuminati is the movie's most brutal sequence, and it's not even close. This team consists of some of the most powerful beings in their universe: Mr. Fantastic, Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, Black Bolt, even Professor X, and Wanda murders all of them in about 5 minutes with genuinely horrifying efficiency. The way she makes Black Bolt's mouth disappear so his scream implodes his own head is nightmare fuel. Turning Reed Richards into spaghetti, slicing Captain Carter in half with her own shield, and crushing Captain Marvel under a statue, each death is uniquely gruesome. What makes this scene work is Wanda's complete detachment from the violence. She's not angry or emotional, she's just removing obstacles between her and her children with cold efficiency. Sam Raimi's horror background shines here with creative kills that push the MCU's rating to its limits. When Professor X enters her mind thinking he can save her and she snaps his neck from the inside, it demonstrates that even the world's most powerful telepath can't stop a fully unleashed Scarlet Witch. The finale of Dark Phoenix shows Jean Grey fully embracing the Phoenix Force and atomizing Vuk in one of the most visually spectacular displays of cosmic power in the X-Men franchise. Throughout the film, Vuk and the Dabari have been after Jean's power, but when she stops fighting the Phoenix and fully accepts it, she becomes something entirely different. Sure, she's not a total villain, but she did kill Mystique, which is enough for me. When she faces Vuk, there's no fight. Jean literally disintegrates her on a molecular level while floating in space. The visual effects of the Phoenix Force consuming Vuk, breaking her apart into cosmic energy, are properly impressive. Taking out those goons was also some neat stuff too. Cate Blanchett's Hela slaughtering the entire Asgardian army is a masterclass in establishing a villain's threat level. The choreography is absolutely brilliant. She's moving through elite warriors like they're children, summoning infinite blades from thin air, and not taking a single hit. What makes this scene particularly effective is how one-sided it is. These are Asgard's finest soldiers here, warriors who've trained for centuries, and they're utterly helpless against her. The way Hela can create weapons from nothing, her casual expression while causing mass casualties, creating this sense of invincibility that's genuinely intimidating. When Scourge and the other Asgardians watch their entire army being decimated in minutes, their fear is palpable and completely justified. The visual design of Hela's powers, the green energy, the black blades materializing everywhere, her ability to catch and redirect attacks makes her feel like death personified. The train sequence where Vuk and the Dabari attack the X-Men showcases how dangerous energy-absorbing aliens can be against even the most powerful mutants. Watching Magneto, someone who's moved stadiums and controlled the Earth's magnetic poles, being completely overpowered by Vuk is genuinely shocking. When Magneto throws everything metallic at Vuk and she just tanks it, turning his own powers against him, it creates this sense of hopelessness. Storm's lightning, Cyclops' optic blast, nothing really works here because these aliens literally feed on energy. What makes this effective is watching the X-Men's desperation as they realize their usual tactics are useless. The fight choreography shows experienced heroes being systematically dismantled by a foe that they can't hurt. The scene demonstrates that power levels don't matter if you're fighting an enemy specifically evolved to counter you, which is a refreshing change from typical superhero battles. Richard Madden's Icarus turning against his fellow Eternals and nearly winning is one of the most visually impressive superhero battles in the MCU. What makes this scene work is that Icarus is fighting family, beings he's known for thousands of years, and he's still dominating. His eye beams are powerful enough to hurt other Eternals, his flight gives him tactical advantage, and his combat experience is evident in every move. The visual effects of his heat vision cutting through landscapes, his supersonic flight creating shockwaves, and his ability to take massive punishment while still fighting creates this Superman-like presence. What's particularly effective is the emotional weight. He's betraying people he loves because he believes in the Celestials' mission. When Cersei, Phastos, and Makari combine their powers to stop him and he's still fighting back, it demonstrates his sheer power level. The scene where he flies directly into the sun rather than hurt Cersei further establishes him as genuinely formidable. After Apocalypse enhances Magneto's already formidable powers, watching Eric destroy Auschwitz and then manipulate the Earth's magnetic fields to cause global destruction is absolutely terrifying. Michael Fassbender's Magneto has always been powerful, but Apocalypse's enhancement takes him to god-tier levels. The scene where he raises his arms and you can see metal rising from the ground worldwide demonstrates power on a scale we'd never seen before. What makes this effective is the personal motivation behind it. Eric's lost his family again, and now he's got the power to make the entire world pay for it.
And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
Christian Bale's Gore killing Rapu with the Necro Sword is one of the most emotionally powerful villain origin scenes in the MCU. After losing his daughter despite years of faithful worship, Gore stumbles into Rapu's oasis expecting compassion and instead receives mockery and cruelty. When Gore renounces him and Rapu starts strangling him, the Necro Sword floating into Gore's hand feels like destiny. The moment Gore plunges that blade into Rapu's throat, the god's expression changing from arrogance to shock is deeply satisfying. What makes this scene work is that Gore's completely justified. This god let his entire civilization die whilst partying.
Feels like a promise. So this is my vow. All gods will die.
Any last words, Warden? No! Please!
Cletus Cassidy's transformation into Carnage inside San Quentin was pure nightmare fuel. The prison breakout scene is absolutely mental, with Carnage tearing through the facility like it's made of paper. Guards, walls, barriers, nothing stands a chance against those gnarly red blade appendages. What makes this brilliant is how Carnage moves with this terrifying fluidity that makes Venom look almost tame. The red and black color scheme creates this visually striking contrast that's both beautiful and horrifying. He really understood the assignment here, giving us a villain who genuinely revels in destruction. He's not just escaping, he's making a statement. The way Carnage slices through everything whilst laughing maniacally establishes him as a threat on a completely different level. The CGI work brings the symbiote to life with incredible detail, every tendril and blade moving independently. This scene perfectly captures Carnage's comic book insanity, showing he's not just powerful but completely unpredictable and gleefully violent in ways that make him terrifying. Flint Marko transforming into a massive sand giant during the reconstruction site battle is one of the most visually impressive moments in Sam Raimi's trilogy. The CGI was absolutely cutting edge for 2007, with sand particles moving in genuinely realistic ways. Watching him pull sand from everywhere, growing larger until he's towering over buildings, creates this sense of hopelessness. Thomas Hayden Church's motion capture performance gives Sandman this weighty presence that makes you feel this is tons of sand moving, but with purpose. The sound design, that deep rumbling as he forms and reforms, is super ominous. What makes this effective is how Sandman can shift from human form to this colossal construct at will. Making him feel almost invincible. Spider-Man's desperately trying, but really, how do you even fight sand? The scene brilliantly showcases raw power whilst maintaining that tragic undertone. He's doing this for his daughter, which somehow just makes it more intense. The scale of destruction at this sand monster smashes through everything, demonstrates why Sandman's such a formidable villain.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
This scene doesn't get enough recognition, but Riptide's tornado combined with Shaw's attack on the CIA facility was absolutely brutal. These are teenagers who've barely learnt their powers, suddenly facing ruthless, experienced villains. Riptide spinning at incredible speeds, generating this devastating tornado that tears through the facility, is visually spectacular. Debris flies everywhere whilst the young X-Men scramble for their lives. What makes this gut-wrenching though, is watching these kids realise they're massively out of their depth. Darwin's death remains one of the franchise's most shocking moments because it happened so quickly and brutally. Shaw's team are not messing around here, you know, they're trying to prove a point. The tornado effect combined with Shaw's energy absorption creates this perfect storm where the heroes are completely overwhelmed. Alex Gonzalez as Riptide may not have had loads of dialogue, but the physical performance and visual effects created something genuinely menacing. The scene serves as a harsh reality check that being a mutant doesn't make you safe, and some villains operate on a completely different level of danger. When Namor and the Talokanil attacked Wakanda, it was one of the MCU's most visually stunning and devastating sequences. Tenochtitlan's Namor isn't just powerful, he's a king. The attack showcases why he's been feared in comics for decades. Flying with those tiny ankle wings, throwing spears, moving with centuries of grace. Namor's absolutely terrifying. The scene where he floods parts of Wakanda demonstrates powers we've never seen in the MCU. Wakanda's supposed to be untouchable. And Namor just reminds everyone the ocean covers most of the planet and he controls it. Talokanil warriors riding hammered sharks while flooding the city creates this surreal, nightmarish quality. Ryan Coogler directed this with such intensity. You feel Wakanda's desperation defending against an environment they've never faced. When Namor flies through the throne room, taking out Dora Milaje warriors with brutal efficiency, he establishes himself as one of the MCU's most formidable opponents. There's genuine weight because both sides believe they're protecting their people, making it a tragic collision of powerful nations. Jamie Foxx's return as Electro gave us the version that we always wanted. The MCU redesign transformed him from dodgy blue to this crackling, genuinely threatening energy-based villain. The scene where he's drawing power from everything, surrounded by massive electrical arcs, is visually spectacular. What works is that Electro's not just powerful, he's angry, and rightfully so after being pulled from his universe. Fox clearly had a blast here, bringing manic energy that makes Electro genuinely dangerous. The electricity crackling across his body, the blue and yellow cosmic effect, makes him look like a proper lightning god. Watching him casually flex with pure electrical energy showcases how outmatched Peter is. The effects team smashed it with this one. Every bolt feels dangerous.
Easy, buddy.
It's actually my fault that you're here.
Like the universe?
When he's drawing power from the arc reactor and fabricator, growing stronger by the second, you're genuinely worried for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Electro's operating on a level that feels almost untouchable, and the visual spectacle matches his power perfectly.
Whoa! Peter, it's me, Flint Marko.
The opening flashback showing Xu Wenwu conquering kingdoms immediately establishes why he's been feared for thousands of years. Tony Leung's performance combined with the visual effects creates this elegant yet brutal display. Watching Wenwu move through armies like they're nothing, rings flying to knock out dozens simultaneously, demonstrates a fighting style that's beautiful and devastating. The rings aren't just weapons, they're extensions of his will. The choreography is phenomenal, with Wenwu barely breaking a sweat dismantling entire forces. The rings give him multiple powers: super strength, energy projection, longevity, defensive shield, and offensive weapons. The sound design deserves credit here too. That distinctive impact when rings hit creates this sense of unstoppable force. Soldiers try fighting with swords, spears, arrows, and none of it matters because Wenwu's been perfecting this for a millennium. How he recalls his rings instantly, creating continuous attack and defense flow, makes him look superhuman. These scenes show why he became a warlord, why people followed him, and why the Ten Rings organization commands respect and fear. Pure visual storytelling making Wenwu one of the MCU's most compelling villains.
I'll be first to admit, this did not go according to plan.
When Juggernaut showed up in Deadpool 2, expectations were high, and this absolute unit delivered. The scene where he punches the prison transport truck, sending it flying, perfectly encapsulates what makes Juggernaut terrifying.
Significantly worse.
Unstoppable force personified. Voiced by Ryan Reynolds himself, the CGI giant is exactly what fans wanted. Everyone acts scared when his name's mentioned, and when you see why, it is justified. That massive fist connecting with the truck, the vehicle crumpling like a tin can and launching backwards, demonstrates strength rarely seen in the X-Men universe. The slow motion shot as the truck brakes while Deadpool's inside panicking adds perfect comedic timing. What makes Juggernaut work is he's treated as a genuine threat despite the film's humor. He's not a joke, he's a massive indestructible force who could snap Deadpool in half. The CGI creates this imposing figure who moves with surprising speed. Later scenes where he's literally tearing Deadpool apart showcase how overpowered he is. But this truck punch perfectly introduces his threat level. Everything the character should be: intimidating, powerful, absolutely relentless.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
That is such a Juggernaut thing to say. Oh my god! Oh my god, I can't feel my legs!
Rise of the Silver Surfer gets criticism, but Doom showcasing cosmic power in creating that massive tornado is genuinely spectacular. Julian McMahon's Doom might not be definitive, but when he goes God mode with cosmic powers, it's impressive. The display where Doom's body channels cosmic energy, his metallic form crackling with power, creates genuinely intimidating visuals. When he summons that enormous tornado, the scale of destruction is massive. What works is the contrast between Doom's usual calculated villainy and this raw, unrestrained power. He's not being subtle, he's showing everyone exactly what he can do, and it is terrifying. The CGI tornado combined with the destruction creates this apocalyptic scenario where the Fantastic Four are completely out of their depth. Reed and the team desperately try figuring out how to stop someone who's essentially become a god, and genuine fear shows on their faces. The scene demonstrates what makes Doom dangerous in comics. Give him power and he'll absolutely reshape reality according to his vision. The Battle of Titan gave us possibly the MCU's most visually spectacular power display. Thanos literally destroying a moon and hurling it at Tony was jaw-dropping. According to the Russos, Thanos used two stones, power to pulverize the moon and space to drag chunks to Titan at incredible speed. The scale is almost incomprehensible. You're watching someone casually destroy a celestial object and weaponize it, turning the sky into an apocalyptic meteor shower. Iron Man desperately fights, but what do you do against someone who throws moons? The effects team outdid themselves with this one. Moon chunks rocks rain down, creating massive impact craters, whilst Titan's weird gravity makes everything look chaotic. What makes this more brutal is what follows. After this insane power display, Thanos doesn't just defeat Tony in combat, he stabs him with his own nanotech. Taking Iron Man's cutting-edge technology and using it against him is the ultimate power move. When Thanos derives that nanoblade into Tony's gut, Robert Downey Jr.'s performance makes you feel every second of Tony's pain and horror, realizing he might actually just die. This establishes Thanos as operating on a cosmic level no single Avenger could match.
Darling, you have no idea what's possible.
Hela catching and obliterating Mjolnir with bare hands remains one of the MCU's most shocking scenes, perfectly establishing her as an unprecedented threat. Cate Blanchett's entrance is iconic, looking stunning and terrifying simultaneously. When Thor summons Mjolnir expecting this weapon to give him the advantage, Hela just, catches it. The look on Thor and Loki's faces is priceless because that hammer's been a defining weapon for multiple films, and she's stopping it like it's just nothing. Then, the crushing begins. You see cracks spreading across supposedly indestructible Mjolnir, genuinely unsettling. The sound design, that mixture of cracking stone and groaning metal, is perfect, making destruction feel weighty and final. When it explodes, the shockwave sending Thor and Loki flying, you realize she's infinitely more powerful than anything they've ever encountered. This isn't just spectacle, it's character establishment. Hela doesn't need to power up or prepare. She arrives and immediately demonstrates she's on a completely different level. Max Dillon's transformation into Electro and his power plant Rampage remains one of superhero cinema's most visually striking villain origins, even if the surrounding film was dodgy. Jamie Foxx's performance captures this mixture of confusion, rage, and dawning power realization, making Electro sympathetic before terrifying. The scene where Electro absorbs electricity from generators, body crackling with blue energy whilst floating above the city, is genuinely spectacular.
Is that all you got? Come on!
The transformation from mild villain to electric god is brilliantly realized, with effects creating crackling, pulsing energy that looks alive. What works is Electro's not fully in control, he's reacting to his past. The dubstep-influenced score divided opinions, but adds this modern electronic feel, making Powers distinct from other Marvel villains. Watching him drain the plant, causing a citywide blackout whilst hovering in Times Square surrounded by electrical arcs, creates this image of a man who's become pure energy. The blue color scheme bathes everything in eerie glow, making Times Square, usually New York's brightest, feel alien and threatening. Spider-Man's first real Electro encounter showcases how outmatched he is against someone who's essentially become electricity.
Oh, thank you, Gwen Stacy.
Ragnarok's climax gave us one of the MCU's most bittersweet victories when Surtur, restored with the Eternal Flame, destroyed Asgard to stop Hela. This works on multiple levels. Visually spectacular, emotionally devastating, representing Thor's character growth. Watching Surtur rise from Asgard's depth, growing literally mountain-sized, is properly awe-inspiring. The voice work gives this ancient demon weight and authority, feeling like a genuine force of nature rather than just another villain. The prophecy established at the film's beginning being fulfilled creates inevitable tragedy. What's particularly effective is Hela's reaction. She's been unstoppable throughout, easily defeating Thor and slaughtering the Asgardian army. But when Surtur appears, even she realizes she's met her match. The battle between Hela and Surtur is brief but brutal, Hela throwing everything, while Surtur plunges straight into Asgard's core. The visual of Asgard being consumed by fire and crumbling into void is genuinely heartbreaking. Thor watching his home destroyed, knowing it's the only way to save his people, represents this massive character moment where he chooses people over place. The score perfectly balances epic scale with emotional weight of losing Asgard forever.
Before me, Asgard, I am your enemy.
Save me.
I love you.
The Last Stand's final battle gave us full Phoenix Force unleashing, and despite the film's issues, watching Jean Grey disintegrate everything remains absolutely terrifying. Famke Janssen's performance captures Jean fighting to control Phoenix whilst this cosmic force tears through restraints. The Alcatraz scene where Phoenix stands in Destruction's center, vaporizing soldiers, mutants and buildings, literally everything, creates apocalyptic imagery X-Men films had never approached. Visual effects of everything turning to dust and ash from the ground up demonstrates power that makes every other franchise mutant look weak. What works emotionally is Logan approaching through this death storm, knowing he's the only one who can stop her. The effects team created amazing visuals. Jean's floating hair, pitch black eyes with veins spreading across her face, this aura of pure destructive energy surrounding her. When Phoenix starts lifting everything, cars, debris, people, and tearing them apart molecularly, it's genuinely horrifying because she's doing it almost passively. She's not even trying. This is just Phoenix Force leaking out. Magneto ripping a stadium from its foundation and flying it across Washington, D.C. to trap the White House remains one of any superhero film's most spectacular power displays. Michael Fassbender's younger Magneto had been building towards this, and when it happens, it's genuinely breathtaking. The scene starts deceptively calm. A groundskeeper asks if Magneto needs help. He simply replies no before extending his arms and ripping an entire baseball stadium from Earth. The visual effects work is phenomenal. You see concrete foundation cracking, soil breaking, this massive structure rising as if gravity is just a suggestion for Magneto. The effects team created this shot of the stadium flying over DC that's both beautiful and terrifying. This massive shadow falling over the city as Magneto transports his makeshift fortress. What's particularly effective is the symbolism. Magneto's not just showing off, he's making a statement about mutant power to the entire world. Doing this on live television during a presidential ceremony demonstrates his theatrical nature while serving as a perfect distraction for his actual plan. When he lowers the stadium around the White House, creating this metal barrier no human military can penetrate, it establishes Magneto as someone who can hold the world's most powerful nation hostage with powers alone. Thanos' arrival in Wakanda represents perhaps MCU history's most one-sided beatdown. Watching him casually swat aside every hero like insects was amazing and absolutely devastating. Throughout Infinity War, we'd been told how dangerous Thanos was, but Wakanda shows it. The built-up tension watching Earth's mightiest heroes make their last stand, Wakandan forces holding the line, Thor's epic Stormbreaker entrance had given audiences hope they might stop him. Then Thanos walks onto the battlefield and hope evaporates instantly. One by one, he takes apart every hero with almost casual ease. Cap's super soldier strength means nothing as Thanos punches him down one-handed. The Hulkbuster gets literally buried. Black Panther's vibranium is useless. War Machine's weapons might as well be blanks. Scarlet Witch manages to hold him back whilst destroying the Mind Stone, the most resistance he faces, but then he reverses time because he's got the Time Stone. The gauntlet lighting up as Thanos uses multiple stones simultaneously demonstrates power beyond anything the MCU had shown. When he rips the Mind Stone from Vision's forehead, completing the gauntlet, you see absolute horror on everyone's faces because they know what's coming. Then Thanos just looks up at Thor and delivers the most devastating line: "You should have gone for the head." The snap that follows, watching heroes turn to dust while survivors sit in ruins of their failure, makes this Thanos' complete victory. He achieves everything he set out to do, and every single hero who tried stopping him failed. That's what makes this the ultimate god-villain moment. Total, unquestionable victory. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.